Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I want to go over an SEO tool that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. It is a keyword volatility report, or a keyword report that accounts for volatility in the search results. This is going to be free for you. I'll leave a link in the description below. Basically, not 9 times out of 10, your rankings are never in a single position. You know, there's always some kind of a range. There's some kind of a variance to your rank position. And this goes for any keyword, for any page. This is the main reason why for the last 3-4 years I've stopped using rank trackers, and instead I've elected to just use Search Console for all of my rank tracking and reporting. If you go into Search Console, you put your date filter in there, your target page, you select average position here, you tick this on, you'll scroll down to the queries table, and you will get an average search position for each of these queries. You can learn more about how Search Console does this by clicking on this little question mark and then learn more. The idea is this is great for reporting, but to get immediate feedback on how a keyword is performing right now, Search Console is not good for that. They lag behind by, say, a couple of days. So this report will get, basically what it does is it fetches a SERP 5 times, and we've got some statistics on how a URL performed across the 5 samples. Now, I said this is free. It's not totally free. We're using DataForSEO.com. We're using their SERP API. I've tested a few of the different APIs out there. DataForSEO, in short, they're the best in my opinion. And we're looking at 0.002 cents per SERP, and this tool runs 5 SERPs per report. So we're looking at a penny per report. All right. So the first thing that you need to do is sign up for DataForSEO, get an API key. You'll go up here once you open up your sheet, you'll go up to keyword report, API credentials, and you will put in your API login and password and click update. And I've got a link here for easy access, but basically you go into your dashboard and it's right here. So after you do that, you click update, it'll close out. Then what you'll want to do is, you will want to first, here, let me show you what this looks like. Well, you'll go to prepare report, you'll put in your keyword, your language code, your location code, and then target URL if you want to. You can leave that blank, and then it'll just give you the table. If you do put a target URL in there, and there's keyword cannibalization or any title changes or description changes that Google might be doing, it'll account for all of that. But you can leave this blank, and then you would just create report. That's it. But let's look at this. So you want to, first of all, there's 3 hidden sheets here. This report template, don't touch this. This is the template that's used to help build a report. Now, what you'll want though is to get your language codes and your location codes. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. You know, you just Control F, look for your language. So I would type in English, and then I would get EN. That's the language code that I would use. And then for location codes, this might take a minute because this is so long. I mean, there's over 100,000 rows here. But you would basically, if you're looking for a national term, you just look for your country. 2840, I believe, is the United States. States. 2840, yep, that's the United States. So if I was looking up a national keyword, my location code would be 2840. But it's got every state, every city. This is for every location in Google's database. That's why this is so huge. And see, this thing's just running forever. You can probably hear my computer in the background. It's burning up right now. But the idea is you get your country code here, or your location code. And yeah, you would put that in the report. So you'd put in your keyword, your language code, location code, your target URL, boom, hit create report. It's going to take a few minutes. I'd say it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes to create the report. There's a lot of stuff going on. So let's look at the report though on how to read it. And yeah, if you have any questions, and leave comments below the video, I'll get to them. And if there's any recommendation for improvement, like I know adding a filter for the location code so you don't have to go in here and search for that's next on my list. I'll get to that. But I'm one man here trying to run a business, and I just make these tools whenever I have free time. Well, let's take a look at this. So the tool gets 5 samples, 5 search results for the keyword back to back. So we've got our URLs here. You got each sample of how the URL performs. And right here you've got a volatility trend line. So this is just a trend line of how across the 5 samples how the volatility looks. And what we would want to see is just a steady line all the way across. Just like this. This URL, clutch.co, they're very strong in their rankings across 5 samples. They don't move. But as you can see, when we scroll down, the volatility keeps getting wider and wider and wider. And it's good to look at from a high level point of view. Next we've got position statistics. So appearance, this is how many times the URL appears in the samples. So if it appears in all 5, you got 100%. If it appears in 4 out of 5, you've got 80, and so on. Let's take a look at one. Yeah, there we go. So brodyclark.com, they only appear in 2 out of the 5 samples, 40%. And then we've got the most common position. So we've got the position that it appears in, and then the percentage of the time that it's in that position. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. So this URL, linkedin.com, this appears in 4 out of 5, or appears in position 8, 4 out of 5 times. So that's position 8 at 80%. And then we've got the best position and the worst position. So this is some key insights about the performance of the URL. And then we've got the average position. Let's scroll down here for a second, because this is where it gets a little tricky. So like Brody Clark only shows up 40% of the time across these 5 samples. But out of the 2 times that they do appear, their average position is 21.5. Okay? But I have a weighted average position that accounts for the volatility if the URL doesn't appear. And so it's much higher. And I do this for just a stacked ranked purpose. But this is a table. You can filter it however you want. But this is you've got the average position of out of how many times it appears, and then the weighted average accounts for all of it, even the times it doesn't appear. And then if you're tracking a keyword and there's any keyword cannibalization, so there's any other URL any URL of the same domain that appears, that will show up here. As you can see, 80% of the time it's this URL. If I was tracking Glassdoor, 80% of the time it's this URL, 20% of the time it's this URL. What's crazy is 80% of the time it shows up for this URL and its position, say its average position is 68. And then whenever this appears, 1 out of 5, its average position is 12. It's pretty interesting. So this is a good insight for the performance of the keyword. And then anytime Google might be changing around your description or titles, that would appear here too. I inserted this manually, this test, just to show you the difference. So it's like 75% of the time, this is the title that's used. 25% of the time, this is the title that's used. And here are the positions that it shows up in. Same thing goes for description. Now, you can run this report for the same keyword any amount of times that you want, and it'll just create a new sheet, and it'll just append, it'll say like keyword SEO consultant 1, and if I run it again, keyword SEO consultant 2, and so on and so forth. You can run it as many times as you want for the same keyword, for different keywords. Basically, every time that you run a report, there's going to be a new tab that gets created, and it's all on a single sheet. And so if you're tracking a keyword, by the way, and nothing shows up, so it's only the table, then that means that there was no title or description changes or keyword cannibalization issues for your keyword. But yeah, I hope this helps. There was a client that I had where we're only tracking just a handful of keywords. We're really paying attention to how it's performing on a day-to-day basis. Like, we're making many different tweaks to things, and the Search Console just wasn't cutting it. He's seeing something different than what I'm seeing, and so this report's going to help us. For one, it cuts back on communication, but for two, there's just solid data behind what the hell's going on with the performance of any given keyword. So I hope this helps. If there's any questions at all, leave a comment. If you like videos like this, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you in the next video.